Apple. You've probably said it 1,000 times today, right? But what if I told you there's a good chance you might be saying it, well, a little differently than you think? Let's dive into this super common word.
Seriously, go ahead and say it out loud right now. Apple. How did that sound? It seems so simple, but believe it or not, depending on where you are in the English-speaking world, that sound can change in a really distinct way.
And that brings us to the main event, really. We're going to focus on the two big ones you'll hear most often, the British way and the American way. The difference is subtle, for sure, but it's actually super interesting when you break it down.
Okay, so check this out. In standard British English, you get a really crisp, clear apple. You can almost feel that L sound hitting hard at the end, right? But then you hop over to American English, and that final L sound, it kind of transforms. It becomes what's called a dark L, which sounds way more like a soft O or ol sound at the end.
All right, let's really listen in closely. First up, the British way. Apple. Hear that? The tip of your tongue clearly hits the roof of your mouth for that ol. Now for the American version, apple. It's a totally different feel, right? It's deeper, kind of comes from the back of your throat. Listen again. British, apple. American, apple. Crazy, huh?
So you're probably wondering, how do I actually make that American sound? It can feel a little weird at first if you're not used to it, but don't worry, we can break it down into a few easy steps.
Okay, here's the game plan. You're going to start with a wide ah sound, kind of like in the word cat. Got it? Good. Then just add the P sound. Now here comes the secret sauce. Instead of making that classic L sound where your tongue tip goes up, you're going to keep the back of your tongue raised. This is what creates that dark L, that ol sound. So you put it all together. ap-uhl, apple. See? Yeah, our source for this, Chatterfox, really nails it down to these core parts. You've got that ah at the beginning and that O-like sound at the end. Just stick the P in the middle, and bam, you're saying apple the American way. Let's give it one more try together. Apple. Awesome. So now that we've got the sound down, let's peel back another layer of this thing. Because apple isn't just about how you say it, it's also about what it means. And this is where it gets really fun. Okay, so this is the one we all know and love, right? The classic definition of the fruit. You know, pies, cider, all that good stuff. But what if apple didn't mean that at all? What if it was something completely different? Yeah, because every now and then you'll hear someone talk about the apple, and they're definitely not talking about fruit. This is one of those cool moments where a word just takes on a whole new life. And there it is, the Big Apple, the one and only nickname for New York City. I mean, this is a perfect example of why context is everything, isn't it? 1 second, you're talking about a snack. The next, you're talking about one of the most iconic cities on the planet. So check out this great example of how you'd actually hear this used. Someone might say, oh, that show's going to be big in the Apple. And that's just a slick, casual way of saying it's a huge deal in New York City. It's just cool, right? That's language being alive.
All right, so we've gone from the way a word sounds all the way to a nickname for a city. So what's the big takeaway here? Let's sum it all up. Okay, here's what you need to remember. 1, apple sounds different in the UK and the US, and it's all about that tricky little L at the end. 2, for that American sound, think ah plus that O sound. And 3, and this is huge, context is everything. An apple can be a fruit, or it can be a whole city.
So there you have it. We've totally unpacked the word apple, from its sound to its meaning. It really proves that even the simplest words can have these incredible hidden stories, you know? So that gets me thinking, what's a common word that always seems to trip you up? I'd love to know. Keep asking questions.